Now, back to the Aztecs Power Hour, exclusively on XTRA Sports 1360.
Back at you inside the world of sports. It's the Aztec Power Hour. 8:36 is the time. Chris Ella right here. Ben Higgins right over there. And on the phone, one of our good friends, the assistant basketball coach at San Diego State University. Mr. Tony Bland joins us here on XTRA Sports 1360. Tony, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. What's up, guys?
Hey, good to have you on the show, Tony. Tony Blanding's all about, sitting back, kicking your feet up, and relaxing. There will be none of that in the Mountain West Conference portion of the schedule starting Wednesday night against Fresno State. I mean, there's just no let-up in this conference this year. Every single game, Tony.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, from top to bottom, even a team like Fresno State, you go play them at home, you have to be really prepared because they have some pieces to be really good. So, Wyoming is undefeated, as everybody knows. Vegas, New Mexico, the usual suspects, and Colorado State. It's the conference from top to bottom is really good.
It's going to really be fun. It's going to be fun for us to watch, and it's going to be a lot of hair pulling for you coaches to sit there. I was at the game last week against Cal State Bakersfield, Tony, and happened to be sitting down there at the end on the floor, kind of watching you guys do your trade, as it were, during the course of a game. And I noticed that, the assistant coaches, maybe from time to time, you have a little suggestion or two to Coach Steve Fisher, but you don't really say a whole lot during the course of a game. I mean, how do you sit there for 2 hours? I know you're probably jumping out of your skin. You want to jump up and yell at an official from time to time, yell at a player from time to time, but you assistant coaches are very, very calm over there.
Yeah, like Coach Fisher always say, the game for us is the test. You just keep your mouth closed, and practice is where we get to voice our opinions a lot. But Coach Fisher, he's been doing it for a long time, so he pretty much got it under control. It's like the suggestion board.
Yeah.
It's like the game is a suggestion board. You throw them out, and sometimes they stick, sometimes they won't, and you just got to live with it, keep it going. But Coach is really good at letting us, have a voice and under our breath say, hey, Coach, I think so-and-so is tired. A couple of minutes go by, and then he'll take him out. Like, good job, Coach, you did that. So.
It's an interesting analogy, being, the practice, studying, and then for the test, you just kind of let him go. And Coach Fisher's often like that. I always hear fans, say, oh, you got to call a timeout. He doesn't. Lets him go out there. You got to make a sub. You got to pull him out, and he doesn't. He kind of lets him go. And once game time rolls around, I'm sure there's a lot of coaching going on, and certainly before the game and at halftime and in the timeouts, but basically, it is partly on the players' responsibility to get that game won when they're out there.
And guys, and I played at Syracuse University, and I have a lot of friends that play college basketball. And in my opinion, that's one of Coach Fisher's biggest strengths. There's a lot of reasons he's been successful as a coach is he gets the right type of players that he likes, that he knows fits his system, and he do exactly what you said. He let them go. So when I recruit right now, I say, hey, do you want to go? Because Coach Fisher, for sure, he's known for getting guys over here and just giving them the freedom to be players, so they don't have to make a mistake or shoot a bad shot and look over their shoulder at the bench, because they know Coach is okay with them making a couple mistakes.
Now, the one thing, though, that he will not put up with, Tony, we know, is lack of effort. And I happen to also know, and I'm not going to call the player out by name at all, but I know that once the game at Cal State Bakersfield got started, no more than 45 seconds into that game, Coach Fisher ran down to the end of the bench and made a quick substitution because a certain player, and again, I don't want to throw a kid under the bus, was not giving the kind of effort that Coach Fisher wanted. That is one thing that he does not like to coach is effort. He wants to make sure his guys are playing 100% all the time, and he's got the luxury to replace them if he feels they're not up to snuff.
Yeah, right. I don't know the situation you're talking about, but Coach, one of his famous things is you're either an energy giver or you're an energy taker. He loves saying that, so if you're not on the court, giving a lot of energy and playing all over the place and his style, the way he likes you to play, he's okay with replacing you with someone else. I mean, he's going to give you the opportunity. He don't have a lot of rules, but you have to play hard all the time.
Give us the latest on Xavier Thames. I know how important he is to the team and running the point. He suffered the back injury and had to come out of the game last week. And Coach Fisher said yesterday he's kind of concerned. How do you feel about it, Tony?
Yeah, same way. He's just, he's the backbone to our team. Chase and Jamal do all the scoring and probably get all the accolades, but X, he's the axle to our wheel. So, I mean, I don't know. We have a lot of good players that throw in there. We have, JJ and Winston, who are capable players at that position. But you always love to have, the root of your team out there with you. So just feel more comfortable as a coach.
So do you think he's going to be able to play against Fresno State, or is it going to be a game-time decision type of deal, Tony, or do you know?
Yeah, I think that's between Tom and Tom Abernard, trainer and coach. I know he wants to play. I know he's over on the sideline during practice when he can't be in there and just like mad at the world because he thinks he should be out there. But we would rather have him for the whole season and didn't have him come back too early.
What do you think it's going to take to win this conference, Tony? I mean, I don't know if you want to throw a number out there, but you got 16 conference games. I mean, no one's going 16-0, and I would be surprised if there was any 14-2s or anything like that with how deep it is. What do you think it's going to take to win this conference?
Rabbit's foot, four-leaf clovers, genies, fairy godmothers. I don't know. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to win it because, I mean, it's so much parity. You have a team like Vegas and New Mexico and Colorado State that expect to do the same thing that we expect to do and that are all capable to do it. So I think you have to hold serve at home and you have to get lucky and win a couple that you probably shouldn't win on the road.
I think that's a good way of putting it. I mean, if you can hang on to your deal at home and maybe if you go 500 on the road,
right,
and then you can get your home games, that would get you to 12-4. I think 12-4 would be fantastic to be able to win it. And we know the fans of Viejas Arena, they're not going to let you lose a game at home.
Right. That's the atmosphere in college. I think they might win a couple games for us. Really, we should probably be like we're going to be like 10-4, and they're going to be like 2-0 for sure.
There you go.
What's the when you watch the opposing teams when they come into Viejas Arena? I imagine they all handle it in their own way and based on their experience. But have you seen a team that really, you don't have to name them if you don't want to, but was just deer in the headlights, that they saw the show and they absolutely just couldn't take it and they wilted? Oh
yeah, I have a couple guys that I've recruited that go to other schools, and before the game, shoot around starts, and they're like, "Hey, man, I heard it's crazy in here. I heard you guys got a chance and all." And when they start doing all that, I'm like, "Oh yeah, we got them." They got them. And then sometimes when they start doing the I believe chant, I'll look over at the other team and try to see their reaction and all that. Like, "Oh, here we go, guys. We're up 4-0. Let's go."
Give a nice little start to things. All right, how's Winston Shepard coming along? How's Skylar Spencer coming along? These two young freshmen, where would you rate their progress right now heading into conference play? Who's made the biggest jump so far?
I think as far as biggest jump, I would have to say Winston because, he was dealing with a lot early on, and he's able to settle down now, and he's able to, last game he had a really good game. I think his best game as a collegiate player. So I think he might have made the best jump, but because Skylar, to his credit, was a little more ready coming in. He was able to go out there right away and block some shots and get some rebounds. So he probably surprised us the most. But as far as biggest jump, I would have to go Wednesday.
Last thing for me, Tony. Do you have any thoughts on the whole conference up in the air thing with the Big East and the Big West, and now maybe going back to the Mountain West? Obviously, for basketball, I mean, you're going to do whatever San Diego State thinks is best for the university, but right now the Mountain West is such a great place to be playing basketball. It's going to be tough to leave, I'm sure, next year.
Yeah, like I told my buddy and I went to the gym this morning. Like I told him, he asked me the same exact question. Like I told him, I think our brand is so big right now, and not to be full of the school, but I think we're so big that regardless of what conference we go to, we're going to be okay. I mean, our preseason schedule is going to be fine, and I think San Diego State is like Gonzaga was back in the days, or UNLV they were back in the days. I think regardless of what conference we're in, we're still going to be a nationally imposing team.
Man, that is so great to hear, and it is so great the fact that is the truth. You know what I mean? I mean, the fact that has happened at San Diego State, it's still amazing to me from where this program was. And then Tony Bland came several years ago and got it all turned around and got it started to turn around, and now on the staff with Coach Steve Fisher. Tony, appreciate the time. Best of luck tomorrow night in Fresno. And I don't know, get a little nap in because that's a late game tomorrow night. My gosh.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Make sure Coach Fisher can stay awake for the second half.
Sure will.
And don't tell him I said that. Thanks, Tony.